In this video, we're going to explore how we can create a drill down bar chart. So as you can see, as I click on one of these bars, it shows me new data related to that specific item. And if I reset it and click now on the tea leaves, you can see here the green data showing us everything according to depth. So it's time to explore this, and this is a quite interesting concept because with the drill down bar charts, you can go deeper and deeper with a proper structure. So let's start to explore how to do this. In this video, we're going to focus on creating a drill down bar chart in Chartjs. And I have received many requests regarding to drill down charts, and this is a bar type of chart, and I know that there's many others, and I'll be covering one by one at a time. However, in this video, the focus will be on bar charts. So what we're going to do immediately is, first of all, let's go here on the chartjs3.com getting started, copy the default code here. If you would like to understand what this is or how this is built up to JavaScript, just check out this video here. Alright, so then what we're going to do in here, we're going to paste this in here, and once we paste it in here, I'm going to cut this out, paste it in there. Alright, so I know the title of this topic. So there we are. So now what we have to do is the following. So basically with this, we're going to cut away some of the data here. I'm going to focus on your two bars for now. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to remove all the excess here. And I will say this will be export data. And here what we're going to do is we're going to show here the commodities. We have two specific ones. Coffee, beans, and of course tea leaves. So once we do this, I want to change the colors here just to match them as well. So for the coffee beans, it will be a black or brown, doesn't matter. We say here brown, and then we have another one here is green. All right, very straightforward, nothing fancy. Copy this, put it in there, save that. There we are. All right, so we have now these two specific items. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically create a onclick event. And with this onclick event, it will be triggering on this, and the moment we click on this, we want to see the other data here. To do this, I'm going to show you a trick here. It's basically we're going to work with this data here. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put in here another one, and here we just say here coffee. So this is our coffee constant, and another one will be our tea constant. And once we did this, what we need to do here is basically a breakdown. So we have here coffee beans. On this case, I would like to do here for the coffee beans, I will take the countries, Brazil, which is probably the #1 exporter. And then we have, what is it? I guess Vietnam, I think, or Vietnam, that is the #2, and Colombia #3. All right. So here we can say here, coffee bean export. And here, just to make it simple, I will say this is 8, 4, or they just make this 5, and then this is 4. Very straightforward. And since this is coffee bean, so we say only brown. We just keep it only on one color just for making it simple. Say brown here. And then what we have here as well is another one for the border color, brown as well, comma, comma. There we are. So this doesn't do anything yet. Later on we will play around with it. So we have here for the another labels, what we will do here, I'll just copy this, replace that, and this, instead of brown, I make it green. Copy this here, and here we're going to get 3 countries as well. One of the tea leaves, of course, China, it's #1. India is the second largest, and third one is Kenya. And I was expecting Sri Lanka, but apparently Sri Lanka is the 4th exporter of this, of the tea leaves. So what we're going to do here for the labels, we say tea leaves export, and here same story. I'll say here this will be 6 because it's 12, so 12, 6, 4, comma 2. All right, so there we are. So what we're going to do now is once we refresh here, nothing happens of course, but what we want to do is the moment we select this coffee bean bar, we would like to get this data here being shown in here. So that's what we're going to do now. To do this, we must understand, or we must create a click event where the canvas is understanding that this click event is a click event, and then it should also figure out where we are clicking on. And if we click on one of these bars, it should match whatever bar we click. Coffee bean matching with the coffee bean details, and this with the tea leaves. So this would mean that we need to do some adjustments in this specific part here. So in here, we're going to create a new constant, which is the CTX. And with this constant, the goal is just to understand that if there's a click event, so I'm going to cut out this, we move this in here, and here, the only thing that we will do is just CTX. Basically, CTX equals this, and if this was this here below, so using now a constant is exactly the same. The reason why I'm doing this is, if we only have this one down here, and the moment we click on the chart, it would trigger everything, including a config, and this config is connected to the data, and it will push again this data here. So basically, it's a dependency that keeps on looping on. And I don't want to do that. I want to only say, look, we're clicking now on this canvas, and from there on, it should understand to do something specific. Alright, so what we're going to do now, because now we've broken it down into two separate parts, we can now start to trigger the click. So we're going to create a new function here, and this function is what we call a click handler. That will be fine. And this click handler, and if you're wondering what is a handler, it's just a function name, but a handler in essence means someone who does a specific task. Well, in this case, this function does the specific task of, once we click on something, or this is the parameter, and this parameter is specified here, we create here a constant point with s. Because what we want to do here is when we click on something, it should not only understand it's a click, but it should understand if we click on this, that it's a specific data point here and here. But if we click somewhere here, it should not trigger at all. So we say here this, and if you're wondering what we're doing here, it's basically in Chartjs, we have here a very specific part, which is in the developers section, and then select here API submenu. Basically, what we're going to grab is this specific item here, this part here. Basically, we can copy all of this code here, get elements, add event modes, etc., etc. And basically, what it does here, this is the one we even need. We can even copy just this specific item here. We have here the click event handler, but we select here as click. We have the points, so let me just paste it in here, and then we have to adjust certain parts of this. So it's a click here. This is an event. So basically our event was called click, so we say click. And this will get us the exact point that we click. So we click on it, and then we select here where the nearest, where's the intersect. And intersect here, this is related to the mode. So if you're looking here at the mode, one of the options, the mode, is intersect. And intersect would mean when you cross. Remember, an intersection is a crossing. When we cross the data point here, for example, the tooltip right now is an intersect trigger. The moment we hover over this part, we cross over this specific bar, and then it intersects or shows the tooltip here. So it's the same structure here, but now our intersect is based on click. We click, and then we'll do something. If you're confused with it, don't worry. Later on, I will show you exactly what we're going to do with it. So that's what we're going to do now. So once we have everything, and this is exactly what we need. Nearest. So, and then the intersection is equals true on the nearest point, and then true as well. Just keep that as it is. The only thing when you change here is the click, because that's the one we have our own name for that. And now what we're going to do is this. So if we're going to get the points dot length, and if there is any points of length, meaning that if we click on one of these items and it recognizes it's a point, because there's only one point here, so it's length. In this case, if that's the case, do something. And what I want to do here, just to show you console log, and then we just say here, we can just grab this point, save that, and if we do this, what we need to do, we have to make sure that this function is being triggered. How do we trigger the function? Well, it's quite simple. We say CTX, because we are here, that we want the CTX, and then we say on click. And when we have on click, we just say here, trigger the click handler. So if I save this now and refresh, open up the console log, and click, there we are. So if I click here on the white space, nothing happens. If I click here on this specific bar or that bar, it shows. Then you can see here what it shows. It shows us all the information that we need. It is exactly what we want. So we're going to play with this. So what we're going to do now is the following. Basically what we want to do here is just being very specific in what we want. So we say here, let me double check. Here we have the if. Here what we can do here is now here the following. You can say here, to play around with this, we say here, let me double check here, the if, then we say here, const, then we create here the first point. Basically what we want to have here is just the 0. We want to grab the 0, which is the length of this. Their length is only 1. There's one index array. So we say here first point or first item here equals points 0. Alright, it's exactly the same. So if I do this now here, let's move this down, grab this, put it in here, save, refresh, click, there we are. Now we don't get the 0 anymore, but we will get there immediately all the data of this one. And you can see exactly, I'm now here clicking on this second value here, which is index number 1, because this is index 0. As you can see here, once I click on that, index equals 0 here. And this one here again, index 1. Meaning Chartjs, or at least the canvas, understands exactly what to do the moment we click on a specific value. So beautiful. So we're done here. And now what we want to do is we want to make sure that this is becoming or working as well with this part here. What we want to do is when we click on this point, which shows us where we click, and it shows us also the index number, then we should show the coffee details. If we click on this point here, which is the green one, it shows here, this is the value of index 1, show the matching T details. Alright, so that's what we're going to do right now. So what we're going to do here is the following. We're going to grab this here, or basically here, now we can do here in an if statement. So if, and then we say here the following. We say here the first point, and this first point triple equals 0, so strict equals 0. In this case, if that's the case, or that works, what we would like to do is now the following. We say here console.log. Now I just get the coffee details. For now, I just want to show you this so you understand that we are now getting this specific constant here. Save, refresh, click on that, and then let's see here, do we console log it? Did it do anything? I have a feeling it didn't do anything. So let me double check here what we did. Console log. Alright, I figured I'm just not paying attention. I'm sorry about that. So basically what we need to do here, of course it didn't work because this point is not equal 0. So let me show you what I tried to show you, and I would slightly get confused. Alright, so if I click on this, you can see here, what do we need? We are in the first point here that shows all the data here. But what we really want to get is this index 0. So if we click on here, we see here index 1. So what we need to do here is to say, if I do index, which is the index here, if I save this now, you will see we get the right value. There we are. That's what I want to do, point out. Somehow I got lost in what I was trying to say. Alright, so in here, same story. So if we do this now, this can basically be commented out. We don't need this for now. We say here this, save this, and refresh, and then we say here console log. And then if we have the console log, you can see here we get the coffee bean details. Alright, beautiful. So once we have this, you probably figure out now what we need to do. All we need to do now is to reassign whatever we have here in the data into the new data of coffee. So what we're going to do here is very simple. We say my chart. Alright, so we get this my chart. And then we say here dot. Then we say here config dot. And then we say, because why are we going to config? So we say my chart here to config, and then we go to the data. And data normally is supposed to go here, but now we say data equals coffee. Basically, what we're doing is saying data here equals coffee. That's what we're really doing. Alright? But we don't do it here, we just do it only here on this part. So we say data equals coffee. And now, we know data. And then we say data equals coffee. That's what I wanted to do. Alright. Now if I click on this, you get this. Let's see what's going on here. Of course, it doesn't do a lot here because we need to do here a update chart. So we say my chart dot update, save that, refresh, select, there we are. So now we have this here. Alright, so what I want to do is just to make this easier, we put it down here. And the reason we do it down here is because we're still missing one specific item, and the item is the T section. So what we're going to do here, we have this. I'm going to copy this again. Then we say here index 1. And then we say here, this would be the T, of course. And we say here, it can be T as well. Alright. Probably this here, doesn't matter. Then we could remove that later on. So if I save this now and refresh now, if I select this, look what happens here nicely. And then if I refresh again and then click on this, look what happens here. We see all the data of the T related items. But there's of course an issue here. First of all, you can see here this still works, but if I click on this, we jump to coffee. This is not what you want, right? Or at least for me, this would be forbidden because I want to go to reset first. So we have to do two things. Let's build a reset button first, and afterwards we're going to block this effect here. You can see here, it moves up here from China, India, Kenya for the tea leaves production, and then if I click on this here, you get here Brazil, Vietnam, Colombia for the coffee production. So what we're going to do here is two items. First of all, let's make the reset, because right now we have no reset button at all. So in here, we go here, we create a button, and in this button here we say onclick, then we say equals, and then we say reset chart, and reset chart is reset, or we can just say here, export data, and in this function here, very straightforward, to put it in here, say function reset chart, and this only does this. You can say here, copy this part, but also we do the following. We say here, almost this, we say my chart config data equals, what is it? Data. Very simple, straightforward. Refresh. Now if I go here, click on this, and then this, there you are. So we're going back here to the original items here. Alright, so you can see here, that's number one. So we solve issue one. Issue number two will be an if statement built in here. Because what we need to do here is this. We need to figure out, can we compare or can we check? If we click on this, we want to make sure that Chartjs has the memory will block us from clicking on this item here, because we have to first export or reset the data here. This should be maybe reset data before it can go do this. Alright, so to do this, what we need to do here is create a tiny if statement, and this if statement will be based on a specific item here that we can compare. So the best way to compare is with what I would say the labels, or the label itself, this one here. If we have one value, it's this, or if we have the other one, for example, if we find the data and we discover that the label equals the coffee bean export, but we are on the tea leaves, we're not allowed to click and move from one to the other like what we have here. Alright, sounds complicated, don't worry. So ignore that one. Don't worry, let me show you exactly how this works. So what we're going to do in here is, first of all, we need to have a starting point to compare the label. So what I'm going to do here is the following. I want to extract the label or get the label. So I say here console.log. And in here, I just want to see here. Oh, here it is. Just a minute. I will have to charge my batteries. So what we're going to do here is the following. Console log. And then in here, all I want to do here is I say my chart.config.data sets, and here we have only one data set, so it's always data set 0. And then here we say dot label. And the reason we're doing this, and label is this one here, so we can compare every time we select something. So for example, you can see here now I get the label and it shows export data. Alright. So if we have export data, we are allowed to push on or click on it, and it should show the clicked value matching. But if we are here now and if I click on this, you can see here now we have the coffee bean, and then now the label here is tea leaf. So if I click on this, so what I want to do is I want to block this moment here. If we can see that this equals coffee bean or tea leaves, at that moment we want to block the click event. So what we're going to do here is very straightforward. It's the following. So in here we say we have here, this is the coffee part here. So what we're going to do in here is the following. We say your coffee dot data set 0. So I'm going to make this console log. Basically, I'm going to just use this console log here. Data set dot label. All right. So we have this. We already have this one here as well. We can just move this down. You will see now we have them together. And if you have them together, when we click on one or the other, you will see something. Let's grab this. Oh, sorry. I want to paste this in here, and I will also paste it down in the T if statement. Save this, refresh, and now you can see here. All right, pay attention. If I click on this, all right, it shows export data, and then it says coffee bean export. And when I click on this, you can see here we have coffee bean export. And what is this? I see here some extras. Did I forget anything? Of course, I forgot this part here. I'm going to copy this. Now here, save that, refresh. All right, so one more time. Here we are. And then if I click on this, you can see your coffee bean and tea leaves. So what I need to do is I need to compare the current one with the other, and if they are matching to this, or if this has a certain value of coffee bean or tea leaf, in that case we need to block the click event. So what we're going to do here is this. Very simple if statement. So let me do this for the coffee first. So in the coffee we say if. Let me say here my chart. My chart, and then .config .data set 0. Then we say .label. So we're going to grab whatever is current here. If this is equal strict, the T label in the data set. So we say T.dataset 0 .label. If that is the case, in this case, we'll just say here console log do nothing. And if that is not the case, else we do it like that. It's very straightforward. Alright, so now if I copy this one and I'll just put it in here as well, I'm going to move this in here, or basically just change this to T. And I'm going to move all this space here. Alright, and so we say if this equals not tea but coffee in this case. So all we do is just compare them, and I can just remove this here just to make it clean. We save this now and refresh. Now I press this, and now I want to click on the coffee bean. And you can see here now it doesn't respond. It says here do nothing. That's it. So to do this, I need to reset, of course, the button, and then I click here, and I have a click on this. Do nothing, because we don't want to jump now to the coffee bean. So basically what I did here was I'm going to check here if I am on tea leaf export, and if the current data set is on tea leaf export, you can see here as well, do nothing. You can do this one here just to make sure you understand what we did here, but it's probably quite straightforward. So save this, it should be also semicolon. Alright, save this, there we are, click, and you can see here it's coffee bean. So it shows here if this equals coffee bean, and we can check here our current one right now is coffee bean label. It has the coffee bean export label, so this label equals the coffee bean label, block the adjustment. And this is basically how you can create a simple drop down or drill down chart. Well, this is not that simple. It's quite complicated because you're going to play with the logic, and I will be making more videos about this, and I think we should be eventually covering some more layers deep. But for now, this is probably the best way to do it, and more videos will come on this topic. And of course, there's still so much more what you can do. If you are maybe interested in how to use the range, the Chartjs range input, and you could even imagine having a range here where you can show the top 10 and maybe reduce them to the top 5, top 3. Check out this specific video here. This one is quite fun as well, because with this is the Chartjs range input, you can show maximum or minimum amount of data. And this will put your chart even in the next level as well.